Good afternoon, everybody. Trying to cover my puffed up, ugly face here. It's Susie Q96, pretty much tucked into my bed again. I feel a little bit better today. They gave me some stronger meds, but it was only to get me through the weekend so I don't end up screaming down at the emergency room and making everybody mad down there. I see my pre quilt. My mommy made me this quilt a long time ago. Anyway, I got a little bit of updating. Have not been to the post office yet, so I don't know if there's any mail there for me. I'll have to get my niece to take me Monday, I guess. Um, we have slowly raised a little bit of money towards the motorhome. I hope we can get the money in time to get it. Morning, my social. I guess it is still morning out there in Cali. Um. Anyway, they got me on a little stronger meds, but it's like I said, it's just for the weekend, and it's just to hold the symptoms at bay because they don't know what I have, so they don't know what to do. And unfortunately, I live out here in hillbilly land where there's just not a lot of specialists. There just aren't. The population does not warrant uh, mud swat. If I was not taking these meds that they gave me, I would be down at the hospital screaming because without these meds, it feels like a horse is kicking me in the head about every 5 minutes and then stepping back on it to see what they kicked. Uh, with the meds, I have a dull headache and my eyes will focus. So that's the difference. But the problem is these are not the kind of medications that you can stay on long term. They are um, steroids and opioids, so they are not the kind of thing that I can live the rest of my life on. But it'll hold down the fort until they can at least try to. They can't even find a neurologist to look at me. And all this time, I've been saying that it was seven doctors and five uh, diagnoses, and I am incorrect on that. I found a sheet of paper out in the living room a while ago. I actually got up and walked around a little bit, and it's actually eight doctors and six different diagnoses, none of which appear to be right, but from here, there's not much I can do. I have to go someplace where they have really good doctors and enough doctors that when you say I need to see a neurologist, that doesn't mean I need to see a neurologist in 2027. I mean, there are just not enough doctors in this area. And because of the insurance that I have, I can only use doctors inside Virginia. Well, if I'm going to have to travel somewhere to go see doctors, I would rather go back to Michigan where some of the doctors have already seen me for some of my other things. And I know people there than to go to another area full of total strangers and total strange doctors. So, what's stopping you for going a ride? Going a ride where, sweetheart? Are we talking about mud swat? What's stopping me from going a ride? I'm confused. Are you saying why don't I go to another part of Virginia because I can't get an appointment? No, I can't get appointments. Mud swat. My insurance is it stinks, to be real honest. But the fact is, in this state, there are not that many neurologists, and there are even less of them that take my insurance. They are backed up for 6 to 8 months in some cases. And also, uh, right now, I can't see to drive. So that means I have to get my niece to drop whatever she is doing and take me wherever I need to go. The closest neurologist that my insurance company has found for me so far that is taking new patients is over 250 miles away, and his first available appointment is in July. That's a big O. That's why I'm trying to get this motorhome because I know if I can get back to Michigan, I know what my insurance covered in Michigan, and it took a very short amount of time to switch from one state to the other when I moved there. Um, I have people up there more than like right here. Um, I've got my niece that is pretty much doing everything. My sister has bailed out on the whole thing uh, because she got mad because I could not hear her and kept yelling at me, and I couldn't hear her, and it was a mess. So what we're trying to do, I have a lady that has cut the price of a motorhome in half to try to help me. Instead of the 6,600 she really wanted for it, she's going to take 35. But right now I've only got 18 of it. Hang on, I'll try to. We've got a GoFundMe that we put together. If you don't like GoFundMe, you can PayPal. Uh, but we are doing. I hate to do it. We're doing the donation thing later on this afternoon if I feel a little bit better. Yeah, she's a real sweet lady. Um, Later, if I feel a little bit better, um, Jesse O suggested that I post some photos of some of the jewelry that I make and see if anybody's interested in getting any of that. There's just not a lot I can do because they have been. Oh, crud. I'm sorry, I hit the button too soon. Um, I've had this ongoing issue since September, and some of you will remember a couple of times where I've said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'm just too sick. I can't do my shows. My eyes are bothering me." And I'd be gone for like 2 to 3 weeks. This is why. Uh, and it has gotten worse and worse. Now, okay, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, and most of April. So we've been messing with this here in rural Virginia for 8 months and have gotten nowhere. No diagnosis, no nothing but me being like in the last 2 weeks, I have been in the emergency room or in procedural testing. It's either 7 or 8 times now, and it, it's not gonna it's not gonna get any better. I have a team of 4 people at the insurance company trying to find doctors for me, but I will tell you this: since September, they have passed me through 11 case coordinators. Because what happens, the case coordinator gets my case, they realize, oh, this isn't a normal thing where I can just, it's not like diabetes or whatever. So let's pass her on to somebody else who passed her on to somebody else. And it has gone on now all these months. And it was okay when it was just a headache. It's a whole different situation when you're seeing triple and your face is numb. My face is numb from here all the way over here, with like the pins and needles kind of numb, like when your feet go numb. My face is that way. There's a deal going on right here that feels like somebody's just taking a screwdriver and just driving a screw in there and then pulling it out and then driving it back in again. It is beyond bearable. And none of, like I said, this is not a high area for um specialists. It's not a high area for doctors because there's no money to be made out here in the mountains. Most of the people that live out here, um they don't have any money, so why be here? um right now the main thing that I need is to get that motorhome. And the problem with the motorhome is my friend Bree, who owns it, she finally got called back to her job up in Chicago. So she's up there right now, and she's coming back in another week. She was trying to give me the money to, the time to get the money together. The motorhome runs fine. It's just kind of funky on the inside because she was going to remodel the inside of it to make room for her daughter to have like her own little room in there. So really what has to happen is somehow between now and the end of next week, um I got to come up with more money. Now we put more money on the GoFundMe than what it actually is going to cost for the motorhome, but we did that so that there would be money to transfer the title and tag and pay the insurance. The interior stuff, it doesn't leak, anything like that. I've got friends that can fix that in 3 hours. I mean, it's basically hammer and nail stuff. Pin the GoFundMe. I don't know how to do that from my phone. Let me see if I can figure that out. See, when I'm in bed and I do this stuff on my phone, it uh oh, there we go. I don't know if I can. Nope, that just gives me a choice of. It'll put it up on the screen, but that's all it's going to do until I can get out of here. There. And do it from my computer, which on top of everything else, my computer got a virus on it. So right now it's going through this giant virus scan thing. Oh God, I am such a mess. Um, This is what I told my one of my friends on Facebook. If I have maybe 1,200 friends on Facebook, if everybody sent $2, you know, we'd be golden. But the purpose of the motorhome is multiple. Number one, it will get me to a place where I can go back and forth between two areas that have very good hospitals. The University of Michigan Hospital is ranked third in the country, and I have been a patient there before, so you know I know that's a good one. And then there's also somebody that they want me to see that is in Grand Rapids. Now, if you take and make a triangle. My friends are all in the Flint area. Yes, I know the dreaded Flint area. But if you draw a triangle, it's very easy to do from the Flint area to Ann Arbor to Grand Rapids back to Flint. It's just a triangle. And so the purpose of that is to get me where I can be mobile, but between more than one hospital areas, because there was also a hospital over um, by Flint in Grand Blanc that is very good for one of my issues. Hey, Flint can be very good if it's the home of Grand Funk Railroad and Question Mark and the Mysterians too. But hey, a little rock and roll in there. Yeah, Flint, Michigan got just treated so badly, and now it's really bad because of they never did. Don't let the world lie to you, folks. They never did fix the water in Flint, and they made this really interesting law that unless you fix the water, replace all the water lines going into your house and connected them to the new lines that went to the street, you can't sell your house, so you're stuck with it. Now, there are some very good things about Flint. If you uh, it just between the auto factories shutting down and the Flint water crisis, it's pretty bad. But I lived in the next town over from Flint and had a wonderful, nice place to live, except it got flooded and I couldn't afford to fix it. But um, I know what the healthcare situation there is, and if I'm going to have any chance of getting better, it's not going to be where I am right now. So uh, all I can do is, yeah. Well, Mikey, the area you're moving to is an expensive area of Florida anyway. That's not one of the lower end ports of the storm, so to speak. Uh, I hate doing this stuff on my phone. I don't know where the buttons are. Oh, jeez. Uh, I'm having problems here. But anyway, this is the most logical plan, especially in light of the fact that my niece and her family are not going to be staying here much longer. So then I will not have any kind of support system, and I'm going to be in big trouble. But mostly it's the lack of doctors. Uh, they have been trying. Here's a good example. They have been trying since September to get me a rheumatologist for my arthritis since September. I Nothing. When I moved here, I gave them a list of primary care and 9 specialists that I was going to require. So far, I've got 3. And partly my own stupidity because my sister told me, oh, you could get, you won't have any problem getting doctors. Well, what she didn't understand is her insurance allows her to go to North Carolina. Mine, because it is tied to a special needs, a special care program funded by the state of Virginia, I can't use it in North Carolina. I have to stay only in Virginia. And that's, you know, to change that would cost me, I think they said $240 a month that I don't have. Plus, I can actually live cheaper in the motorhome than I can in the apartment. I have lived in a motorhome before, folks. It's not like I don't have experience in doing it. I have done it, and it wasn't all that long ago. I'm talking within the last 5 years. So, another thing about that is if they need to move me from one area to another area for care, there's no ambulance bill. There's my buddy hopping in the seat and driving me to wherever I need to be, and knowing that I will have somebody to take care of M3 and just stuff. I'm not crying. I'm about to sneeze. Uh, so, and I have confidence that they can figure out what this is and come up with some sort of treatment plan. Right here where I am, I have zero confidence because I've been here since since the end of August, and nobody has done anything for my health. My health has just plummeted on every single aspect. I know the doctors that I had up there before, and in fact, I have contacted 3 of them already, and they said they will happily take me back. So that's a plus. A fake peace dollar. Yeah, this is one of the things I really miss. I miss doing the show I was doing in the mornings. The This was the news because I was doing a lot of stories about fake coins that look real and news articles from the 1920s where they were busting counterfeiters and they were describing how you could tell the coins were fake. And I really miss doing that show. I know I don't have the energy right now to do my shows, and but I'd like to maybe try to do one, at least one a week, but not like one of the big long ones. I think I'm going to try maybe just to do like I was doing before, the one in the morning while I was taking my medicine and just reading the news articles, because There was one that I read, Mikey. I don't know if you were there that morning, where they were talking about these kids that found a whole bag full of fake dollar coins, and there were books in the bag that told how to make the coins. And for, fortunately for the world, I guess, these young men were students at the local Catholic school, and they took it all and gave it to the authorities. It all, but they were describing this one book in there that was from the 1750s, and then there was a couple of other articles that I did that I read. These are all old newspaper articles. And another one of the things that it says in one of those, um, is that some of the you have to remember that some of the equipment in the older mints were not as well maintained. There wasn't the exactness, and there was, I did an article about that too, and in particular, they talked about uh, coins out of Carson City and New Orleans, and that even sometimes Philly was terribly sloppy because you couldn't just get on the internet and say, "Hey, we need blah blah blah. This die is cracked. We got to have another one like now." They might have two dies in the whole place for that one particular coin, and if one of them was screwed up, it could take months for them to get another one. Well, they can't just stop production, so they're using this kind of crappy looking one. But then there was an article that I did on that show. If you guys have not watched those videos, you need to go back and watch the That Was the News with Susie Smart, because that's what that show is. It's articles about counterfeiting and treasure hunting and uh, the introduction of new coins and how coins are made. And there's some old metal detecting stuff in there, but there were several that were really good. And one of them described in detail from beginning to end how things were done. And it now you would kind of laugh at that. Well, that's because I am full of drugs, Modest Moon. They gave me a lot of high power stuff to get me through the weekend, but the problem is I cannot stay on these drugs. They mostly do this because the last two weekends in a row I have ended up in the emergency room. And of course, I tried to call every doctor that I have and could not reach any of them. So this weekend, we made sure before everybody went off on their camping trips or their whatever they're doing on the weekend that they had extra medication for me so that I would not go into those, because it's kind of what it is. It's like a pain spasm. It's some kind of, I believe it's some kind of nerve damage, but they have guessed everything and nobody knows, but none of the treatments they have tried have worked. But it runs across, it started out in my ear over here, and then it started working down my face, and now it runs all the way across my face. And it feels like I'm being kicked in the face by a large animal, like a horse or something. And my eyes go triple vision, and when they can keep enough anti-inflammatory and pain medication in me, then I have a headache and numbness of my face. If they don't keep me that drugged, I would not be sitting here talking to you right now because my sister and I had a joke. The sound that I make, because I just it's like a constant whine and you just can't stop it. And it was kind of I'm going to try to imitate it, but it was like uh 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 and my sister said that my next door neighbor's noise complaint was probably because he thought I was getting some sex and he wasn't. I have already had a okay, I've had a CT. The first CT scan they did was early on, oh, I'm gonna say in February, and um, all they were scanning was my sinuses because they thought it was just a sinus infection. So they treated me for a sinus infection, and it went away. And as soon as all the drugs that they were giving me for the sinus infection were gone, this it came right back. So they repeated this process like 5 or 6 times. Well, guess what, folks? If it didn't work after two or three, it probably not going to work. So then I was like, look, you got to look at something besides my ear. Oh, and then they put a tube in my ear because they thought there was fluid trapped in there. And that only made the situation worse because then the tube got infected with whatever's floating around in my brain. So then the second time, they did a CT of my whole head, and the doctor said he can see two spots that don't look normal, and he said I don't think that this is what it is, but I cannot rule out that it could be a tumor. And in the course of all this, then I started getting the droopy face like you get when you have Bell's palsy or a stroke. And I still think the night that they left me screaming in the emergency room for 6 hours that I had some type of a mini stroke because my physical coordination has gone to crap. I can't remember words that I use in my everyday vocabulary. Um, so uh, at least this guy is taking it seriously. He's trying to uh, uh, find somebody else, that's actually a neurologist because this guy can't treat me because he just happened to be working the ER that night, but he is registered in North Carolina, so I can't go to his office and they won't do the stuff. Yeah, it's just an insurance freaking nightmare. My face is terribly swollen. It's not as bad today as it has been. If you go back and you look at the last couple of days, um, there's one where my face was like out to here on both sides. It's terrible. And I didn't really want to show initially I didn't want to show this on YouTube because I mean women are vain. We don't like people to know that our teeth aren't real and and stuff like that. But I had somebody say, "Oh, you're just faking this to try to get users." Well, or subs. Well, if that were the case, it would have sure as hell backfired because I have lost a lot of subscribers since it started. No, the reason I'm showing it is I'm kind of hoping if somebody else has this kind of thing going on and recognizes it and can tell, give me a clue, or if somebody has this going on and they haven't done something about it, they need to go do something about it. So, what we are pushing for now, but insurance companies do not want to pay for, is a scan called a PET scan. Uh, I had one, I'm going to say back in 2011, and it probably saved my life because they found several things. A PET scan pretty much does your whole body. Um, I also need to uh, see if I can persuade them to do some other. Oh, and they did an X-ray, but they only did the X-ray of my ear. I've got these two doctors. The first two, my primary care and the ear, nose, and throat. They are just dialed in that this is nothing more than an ear infection, and that I'm just a pathetic little whiner. However, the other doctors that have looked at me are saying, no, there's more to this than that. And the problem is there are so few doctors in the area that I can get into. And uh, so now I'm trying to get them to do an MRI. And a lot of people don't really understand um, the MRIs are a little bit different in how they're done, and they show different things. Uh, because a CT is just basically a glorified X-ray, and an MRI is a magnetic resonance imaging. It uses radio waves, and on some parts of the body, it just it show things that you didn't see. Exactly. There's so anyway. If I know that if I do not get out of here within the next 2 or 3 months, whatever this is going to, if it is a tumor or if it is, I've also had, unfortunately, mentioned the possibility that I could have MS. Well, my sister said there's no history of MS in our family. And I said, well, until I came around, there was no history of psoriatic arthritis. There was no history of ulcerative colitis. Just because there's no history in our family doesn't mean that I can't have that. I am walking, living proof of that. I have diseases that nobody in my family has, and they're just like, wow, really? Are you adopted? No, I don't think so. Because I also have some diseases that people in my family do have. But I got to tell you guys, I have a huge family. So when somebody says there's no history of something in my family, I kind of have to laugh. Um, my mother had 15 brothers and sisters. One of them passed away when he was a baby, but all the rest of them had children. And I mean a number of children. I have on my mother's side, I think 63 first cousins. Think about that. 63 first cousins. Then on my dad's side, he had 11 brothers and sisters. And I think I have 25 or so first cousins. So I have around 80 first cousins. So if you say there's no history of something in our family, you better count it up because we got a big family. Yeah, see, there's a lot of stuff. They have checked my heart. My heart seems to be working as it should. Where my concern is, and not one of them have checked this, not one of them have even asked about this. I have major back issues for which I was going to physical therapy twice a week when I lived in Georgia until COVID came. Well, part of my physical therapy was traction, and part of it was what is called a TENS unit. Um, a TENS unit is a little electronic device that you stick these little electrodes on, and it is supposed to help relieve the pain, and it did help. The problem is I cannot by myself place those four electrodes in the spots where they need to be, run the machine for 20 minutes, take them off, move them to the next spot where they're supposed to be, and do the same thing three times for the three different spots in my back. Now, the one that was the highest up in my neck used to cause me some terrible headaches until they started in with the TENS unit and the uh, traction. And I am kind of wondering if that is, that nerve that was causing the problem over there, if that has now not caused nerve damage further up and is causing this. But I can't even get the insurance company to pay for somebody to come over and stick the electrodes on 3 days a week. It's, and I can't just have some random person that doesn't know where they're supposed to go come over and stick them on. That's not going to work. I have tried everything to put them where they belong, right up to taking my back scratcher and sticking the sticker on. It doesn't work that way. But I'm wondering if that is part of an issue. Uh, but if I stay here longer than about 3 months, I'm probably gonna have so much serious damage that it won't be fixable. Um, I had the discussion again with the guy the other day, trying to get the PET scan and the MRIs done because I want those done and sent to Michigan. I don't want them done and looked at by hillbilly hobo down the road here that got his degree from Hank's Wheel and Tire. I mean, there are a few good doctors here. I'm not saying there aren't, but the key word is a few. The when you think of, most people think of Virginia, they think of the northern part of Virginia, up around Washington D.C. And well, first I got to get the doctor, Victoria. That has, I have suggested that. I have even carried the marker. They have the markers where they mark where they're going to do incisions and stuff, and said, "Look, can you just mark on here where these are supposed to go?" Well, I'm not your orthopedic. I'm not your ortho doctor. That has to be done by your spinal surgeon, by your ortho doctor. Well, that's one of the doctors they haven't found for me yet. in all the months I have been here. So the reason, there's multiple reasons not to be here, but the there are multiple reasons to go to Michigan. And the other thing about Michigan, um, is that from either direction, it is about a 10-hour drive if my family needs to get to me. The only one that would not be able to is like the brothers that live in Florida and like that. But it's 9.5 hours from here to Ann Arbor, Michigan, and it's 9.5 hours from Ann Arbor to the Quad Cities in Illinois and Iowa, which is where the whole rest of my family is. So that would make it where if something came up, family could get there in one day. Now, I will tell you, and I don't know if Muscle Shell is still lurking, but the first trip will not be to Michigan. The first trip will be to Florida for two reasons. Number one, I'm going to see my brother. Muscle Shell gave me money to do that. And two, I've got uh, a vast number of people that I know from my 20 plus years in stock car racing who are in the Florida area who can help me fix and tweak anything that needs to be fixed and tweaked. And I trust them. I literally trust them with my life, or I wouldn't have gotten in race cars that they built. And so I'm going to run down there and see my brother, get a few little finishing touches put on the motorhome because I could do it way cheaper than if I had to pay somebody, full money. They will make sure that I am 100% roadworthy. And then from there, I will do my Michigan trip and uh, get hopefully get some things done because it this isn't it's I feel good today because I am loaded up with drugs, but I don't want to live my life loaded up with drugs. That's no life. So I want to go where I have a life, and plus I can still have because I've lived in in a motorhome before, a much smaller one, but I can still do my jewelry as long as I can focus and function. I can still do jewelry. I can still have internet access. So um, I will still have some ways of making money. And like I said, my big thing is I have to uh, work out how much car insurance, car insurance, um, the insurance on the motorhome is. I am taking my car. I'm going to tow my car with me so that way we can park the motorhome and don't have to be burning tons of gas every time I need to go somewhere. The motorhome is for a place to live and a place to transport me if I am too sick and I need to go quite a ways. So that's what the whole deal is. Somebody saying, she's just looking for a free ride. Well, guess what? If anybody wants to get on this ride, I will be freaking happy to get off and let them get on it. You know, uh, this, I had three major surgeries in 2010. And this, whatever this is 10 times more painful than what I went through in those three major surgeries. And the thing about it is, I don't know when it's going to hit. I'll think like, okay, I feel pretty good today, so I'm going to get up and I'm going to make myself a pitcher of tea. And I'll get halfway to the kitchen and go, no, maybe I'm not. uh, I am kind of resting for a reason here. Jesse suggested that I uh, post some photos of some of the jewelry that I make that I have for sale. So I will be doing that probably later today or first thing in the morning. Uh, I let somebody use my computer and I don't know where they went with it or what they did, but they got a virus on it. So now we're having to uh, run all the virus stuff right now on. We believe the virus is gone, but I have updated all the virus scanners and the search and destroy and all of that. And now we're just letting it all run back through again to make sure everything is clean because I don't want to upload anything until I have made sure that that is clean. The problem with somebody's, my friend question mark said, well, can't you use your laptop? I said, well, sure I could, except that all the pictures are on the other on the other computer, and I don't want to have to take all of them over again. So it's okay. I was married to a computer tech. My son actually worked for the Army Signal Corps, so I'm pretty good with tech stuff. It's just time consuming when you got to do, go through and make sure that you've got everything cleaned up. So as soon as that's cleaned up, I will be posting some pictures. Uh, I have a lot of different styles and it's not all girly girly. I mean, some of it is, but and some of it is not jewelry at all. It's like little pieces of art. Uh, so I'm gonna just try to post a variety of things. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make like a slideshow, and each item will have what the price is, and if you want that item, the first person that posts in the comments sold, then you have bought the item. I'm not going to do like an auction because I don't have the energy right now to do that. So I'm just going to put the prices on it like I'm setting up my booth at the farmers market. And then if you decide that you don't want to buy it, just let me know and we will relist it. But that seems to be the easiest way for me to do it because having to watch bids and stuff is, you know, kind of. If I had an empty thumb drive, I would do that. But my last empty thumb drive, I just sent to my 97, excuse me, I said 97, my 99-year-old aunt. Yeah. Good idea, Mikey. Okay, we'll make it buy it now. See, the way we used to do things before I got in the coin community, when I was doing just jewelry stuff, was we used sold. But I agree with you. The buy it now is a common term in this group. I know what it means, Mikey. I'm a big girl. I'm old enough to probably be your great grandma. All of us not dumb though. But I keep Mikey around because he's the smartest guy I know about being able to pull like some obscure fact about a penny out of the air. you know, Mikey's been a blessing to me because he does know a lot about coins. So anyway, I'm gonna put up maybe 20 to start, and then go through and pick out. I'm gonna try to pick out different styles of different things. Um, but a lot of them have already been photographed, and I see no need in me doing it again. But I have to go back through and make certain that I still have those items because I do sell at farmers markets and online some. So I always have to make sure because a lot of my stuff, pretty much everything is a one of a kind item. And I don't want to put something up and realize, oh, wait, I sold that bracelet at so and so, 2 months ago. So I kind of have to take the pictures and match them up with what's in the actual box because I did have a couple of online auctions um, where Sir Benji cleaned me out. Sir Benji has a lot of women in his family, and if you need a reference on, yeah, well, my shipping's pretty much the same on all of them, so there's very few pieces except the art pieces that would have different shipping. So, yeah, that's already planned to do. Um, yeah, Sir Benji, if you need a reference, you're not sure, say, well, I never bought anything jewelry from this lady before, or anything like that. Go ask Sir Benji. He has probably bought 25, 30 pieces of my stuff, and he will be happy to uh, give you an honest reference. He only ever ordered one thing that I was incapable of doing, and we weren't sure it was going to work when we tried it. And of course, he wasn't charged for it, it was an experiment. But I'm still going to go back to that experiment because I have another idea of how I might be able to make it work. But yeah, I actually have some stuff up there. Uh, where's my Mikey when I need him? Mikey, go find the other channel, the Oh Susie Q Jewelry and Decor, please. Pretty please. Uh, I'm afraid I'll kick myself out of uh, uh, StreamYard looking for myself. Oh, nobody caught this yesterday, too. I gotta tell you, this was funny. Um, I meant to post uh, GoFundMe is up and running, and instead I wrote Go Find Me is up instead of Go Fund. I put Go Find, and I guess the only person that found me was Florida Thunder digging with Rob because he sent me a little note saying, "You might want to fix that." Uh, so yeah, it was kind of go find me day yesterday. Oh my. Yeah, he kind of gets on my case a little about not being jovial when I'm online, but finally I just sent him the whole story last night and said, "Look, it's kind of hard to be jovial when you got this mess going on." It just, and there's somebody who has a very similar name to mine, and so I have to be sure I find the right link. It kind of, yeah, I hope that looks right to me. But anyway, so I'm going to try to work on that in a little bit. I wanted to lie down for a while because my back was killing me. But we did have a couple of jewelry auctions on there, and that's why I know that an auction right now is just more than my body wants to do. So I'm just gonna, you know, put the stuff up there, and you can buy it now if you like it. Uh, I have so many different styles of stuff that uh, I will tell you, if you like animals, especially cats and dogs and horses, I have some really, really cute dog, cat, and horse jewelry. I mean, like, one of the first things I did was sell a set of Dalmatian dog earrings to a fireman. I mean, I knew when I saw those Dalmatians, I said, some firefighter's going to buy these. And so I ordered the charms and designed the earrings around them. And sure enough, well, that was one of the first things sold. I did a really cool cat bracelet for Sir Benji's, I think it's his granddaughter, that had all these sassy little cats on it. It was really cute. And I do a lot of custom orders. So if you're looking at stuff and you don't see something that you're interested in, just send me an email saying, "Hey, can you make," like one of the ones I did was, I had some little bulldog charms, and a lady wanted the University of Georgia colors for her Georgia bulldog earrings. So, yeah, I do custom orders and stuff like that, and my eyes are working well enough now. I can do small pieces. So, but yeah, I'm just gonna post a bunch, and if nobody likes them, then I'll punch in another bunch, and there, like I said, there's something for everybody. Uh, there's also some things that I am out of. Well, I would have to see what Fabio looked like because I only have a certain number of uh, charms to work with. I had to order all these charms, and the reason I ordered them, I ordered a whole big pack because there was ones in there that looked like my cat that I wanted. And then I ordered some other ones, and then I ordered the dogs. There's certain dogs that I'm out of. I don't have any more dachshunds, and I don't have any more Yorkies, but I still have a lot of really, really cool dogs. I'll try to at least line up the charms so you can see what charms are available, and then you can pick out. what you want beads of a certain color that listen to the color of your cat or whatever. We actually did this thing on one of the videos where you got to design your dog. And what we did was we had the charms out there, and you got to pick if you wanted surgical steel or sterling silver. You got to pick, did you just want the charm or did you want beads with it? And we had a whole bunch of different beads to choose from. And so, anyway, if you go to that channel and you kind of look at some of the stuff, you'll get kind of an idea of the things I do. But what I'm going to do now is take a break. I've been on here an hour. I'm going to go see how far along this uh, maintenance program on my computer is. Then I'm going to take a nap for about an hour. And hopefully by then I can start working on the cats and kittens, pups and pooches. And I have some pretty cool horse ones too. I ordered them just to. That was another deal where I had to order 20 charms to get the one that I wanted. Okay, just weighed my piece dollar. Original weight is 26.73. Yours weighs 26.8. Yeah, but that's not that much more. There's always a little variation. I don't know. I'd have to really look at that one. I'd have somebody like oh heck, JB's or I don't know. There's some folks out there that know a whole lot more about peace dollars than I do. I don't even own a peace dollar. I'm too poor to own a peace dollar. And it's become a standard joke with my nephew. He says he cannot understand how there could be a hippie who didn't own anything that had peace on it. But oh, anyway, that's what's happening. I don't want anybody to think I'm dead or anything. I'm just trying to get to where I won't be dead. I know I have to get to an area where there is better medical care than what I can get here. If nothing else, more expedient care than I am getting here. I'm just not. Like I said, I've been here since September. I was supposed to have 9 specialists and a primary care, and so far I have, out of those 9, I have 3 and the primary care, and they can't. And now I need a new one. I need a neurologist, and they can't even give me a month that they could find me one. I wouldn't mind if they said 2 weeks, but when you start talking 2, 3, 4, 5 months for something that is this painful and debilitating, where I kid you not, there have been times where I can get out of my bed real easy because it's way up high. So I basically just stand up. And then to get into it, I have to come up a little step. Now, I got down out of the bed to walk to the bathroom. That didn't work. I had to get down, grab hold of the little stool, and crawl to the bathroom, and then use the little stool as kind of a walker while I crawled myself back and then stand on it and get back in bed. That's not going to cut it for me. Y'all know I am not going to be tied down like that. And then The other thing, somebody said, well, why don't you sell your metal detector to raise the money? Well, because the metal detector is what I am working towards being able to do again. I don't want to sell my inspiration. Am I selling a couple of my guitars? I'm trying. I don't want to, but I have more than one. I'm not going to sell my metal detector because that's the whole thing I'm working for, is to be able to detect again. So no, that ain't happening. That's not gonna happen. Uh, but I am working up some ads. I've got my one of my nieces totally looks like a rock star. She is she looks like a rock star. So we are gonna put her in her best rock star apparel and pose her with these guitars and see if I could sell the guitars, girl not included. But guys are going to look at that guitar in a whole different light, and so will women. Women will look at a guitar being held by a guy and saying, "Yeah, well, it's all right." They will look at a guitar being held by a girl that looks like a rock star and say, "Yeah, that looks badass. I want that." Um, I don't have a whole lot of stuff on eBay right now, but what I do have, let me get over. I have to change screen just to post a comment on the phone. Uh, People have said they had a hard time finding me on there. Uh, but my dealer name, I do not have a store right now. I think I have 19 items up there. Uh, and it's all different random oddball things too. I got more stuff I need to get listed, but it's so hard when you can't sit at the computer or your eyes won't focus, to get it done. I've got the stuff all prepped, it's packed, everything's clean, sanitized. And somebody asked me, well, how do you sanitize things? Well, it depends on what they're made out of. But a lady said, well, how can you sanitize? I forgot what it was. Oh, it was a pair of fabric shoes. I said, steam. That's what steamers do. They sanitize. And so, anyway, I'm going to go see if I can't get these pictures working. And I appreciate y'all stopping by and saying hi, because I sure miss doing my shows, and I miss going around and watching the shows. But I'm getting a reprieve this week because they gave me the extra meds. On a normal day, I would probably not be able to be having this conversation. But they have finally realized that the best thing they can do is keep me comfortable on the weekend so I don't have a stroke or I don't have a seizure or whatever the heck you want to call this thing that goes across my face. Uh, so this is just gonna, this was a 5-day thing, started yesterday. So that when the doctors get back, then we have to discuss what we're going to do. But they've got to get this under control because I can't function. I can't drive. I can't. I managed yesterday to get my laundry done, but it was not easy. I had to hook a basket to a walker that I borrowed from somebody else. And by the time I got to the laundry room, I was so tired I sat there for about 15 minutes after my laundry was already in. Well, the only reason that they are doing something finally is because of that last emergency room doctor that looked at me, and he took me seriously, and none of the other ones have taken me at all seriously. And I handed him the list. This is what this one said. This is what this one said. This is what this one said. And he just looked at it like, what the hell is wrong with these people? So he is the one that suggested that if I was going to find out what this was, and that I needed to be somewhere in a major medical area with big university hospitals that have research programs, and that I was going to need to be somewhere where I had a bigger support unit than just my niece, because eventually I was going to wear my niece out. My niece has kids of her own, one of whom has a very serious illness. I cannot depend on her to continually babysit me. So I need to go where those things are in place, and those for me, because I've already lived there and I know what is there, that is going to be Michigan. So we have a little over a week. The problem with the motorhome situation is that my friend had is having to go back to Chicago. She can't take the motorhome with her to Chicago, and if I can't get the money for it, she can't afford to leave it sit where it sits, and she's going to have to sell it to somebody else. And she's trying real hard to help me, to the point that she cut the price of the motorhome in half so that I can, uh, you know, we're trying to help each other. She can't take it to Chicago, and I can't get to Michigan without it. So, so we've got the two options right now of the GoFundMe or PayPal, at which makes it look like there's less money than there is, because somebody PayPal'd $500. So where is Mid Michigan Hospital? Because where I'm supposed to be going initially is uh, UM, and well, I may well eventually end up there, because that is an option. But I'm supposed to be going to UM in Ann Arbor first, and then I need to go back and see one of my doctors in Grand Blanc at the hospital there. And yes, I pronounced it correctly. You can tell somebody's not from Michigan if they call it Grand Blanc. They're not from Michigan. And then there's another one that I got to go to at Grand Rapids, or as my friend Q likes to call it, Grand Rapids. But mostly Ann Arbor initially. That's why we're trying to get the motorhome, because that makes a nice little triangle if you look at it. Because where I'm probably going to have to, I got to find a place to park this motorhome, and it's probably going to be over in Genesee County. So you can draw that nice little triangle from Flint to Ann Arbor, back up to Grand Rapids, and back over to Flint. But I do have a lot of friends in Midland, Bay City, Saginaw. So, you know, it, since they don't know exactly what this one new disease that I have is, they're not sure I'm going to end where I'm going to end up. But initially, I'll be at Ann Arbor, and then once we start zoning in on what's causing this, then they'll know more which hospital I need to be at. So yeah, that's actually the area that I know the best of Michigan, because I lived in Flushing, which is kind of halfway between Flint and Saginaw, but kind of leaning towards Bay City. And I had a shop inside one of those indoor flea market things in Bay City. So I was always up at Bay City, Midland, all up in that area. So that's kind of the area that I know, but I'm just not quite sure where I'm going to end up. But I know that we've got to work real hard in this next week to raise the rest of the money for the motorhome. It looks like, if you look at the GoFundMe, that there's only $100, but there's really more than that, because there's money that has come from other sources that does not show up on that. So I look at that and it's really discouraging. I'm like, oh my God, my life is only worth $100. That's kind of a scary deal. All right, well, let me get out here. My phone's on 8%. I need to see where the computer is, on where its maintenance is happening. Like Sir Benji is in Flint. I did not know Sir Benji when I lived right outside of Flint, but I know Sir Benji now. I have made a lot more Michigan connections. I have like Michigan connections through music, then I have Michigan connections through coins, and Michigan connections through metal detecting. So I've got I got some folks up there. I got more than one person that I can call on. Where here, my niece is about to leave. They're going to be moving in the not too distant future, and I need to have that lined up. But I'm not going to have them here to take care of me. So I need to be somewhere where I know more. So anyway, I'll be trying to get some jewelry stuff up and stuff like that. And y'all please share those links for the PayPal and the um, GoFundMe, or as I called it by mistake yesterday, Go Find Me. Uh, so yeah, I got to get some answers soon, because otherwise I'm not gonna make it, and that's just, yeah. Let's not forget that power of prayer. Amen to that. All right, everybody, let me go. I want to fix me something to eat too. I'm getting sick of yogurt. On a day that I'm feeling good, I can go actually make a hamburger or something. So I'm going to give it a go. Something fairly soft. All right. Thank you guys so much for stopping by to see me. Like I said, if you could please help me out by passing the links, I would appreciate it. All the time I'm always donating to people that are sick and stuff on, that I see videos for. And you can rate anybody you want. You tell Bill 457 I said hey. So anyway, yeah, take it easy. I'll get back with you sometime tomorrow. Let you know where I'm at with things. So, M3 and I appreciate all the thoughts and prayers, and we love y'all. Bye bye.